Are you planning on rerunning in the next election?
You're going to know that within a week.
You heard it. Not really a yes or no answer there, but it's becoming clear Democratic Governor Tony Evers plans on running for a second term. That's something that you heard from State Democratic Party Chairman Ben Wickler on Up Front last month. The governor last week announced his campaign team. So we're sizing up the 2022 race for governor with our editorial partner, J.R. Ross. He's the editor of WisPolitics.com. J.R., it's always nice to see you. We appreciate what you bring to the show. And what are you hearing that the governor will campaign on? I mean, when we think back on the last year, it's been devastating for people.
Well, a couple of things. One, he'll campaign on what Republicans would not do. They would not expand Medicaid, for example. They would accept that federal money to pay for various programs he wanted to do. So he's going to run against a legislature that would not do the things that he proposed. It's not exactly the greatest message in the world, though, sometimes to say, well, I don't have much new to offer, but what these guys wouldn't do. So he has to think about something else he can run on that would offer a positive forward-looking vision. One thing he could also run on is going to be the COVID response, and how he handled that. It's going to be interesting to see how the governor packages that series of proposals they put forth, the mask mandates, restrictions on businesses, the efforts to roll out the vaccine, how that is judged, because it's kind of a 50-50 issue right now. We're in this kind of not quite post-pandemic world, but in a world where you have some people are starting to kind of have COVID fatigue and snap back. So those folks are very motivated against the things that Governor Evers has done. That could be an issue for him. And his challenges include things like the unemployment insurance problems, getting those checks out, the violent protests in Kenosha last summer. So he's got some pluses, but some challenges as well.
Right. So much has happened lately. And we're already hearing about Republicans who are interested in running. I know you've reported on them. We've talked about it on this show. Who's on the list so far? How serious are they?
Well, see, that's the thing. It's easy to say you're thinking about running for governor. It's nothing to actually build a foundation. So my list includes State Senator Chris Kapenga, who's thinking about it. Eric Hovde, a Madison businessman, he's thinking about it. Kevin Nicholson, who ran for U.S. Senate in 2018, he's thinking about that, or run for U.S. Senate, depending on what Ron Johnson does. Paul Farrell's names have mentioned, the Waukesha County Executive. The list goes on and on. Sean Duffy, former congressman. Mike Gallagher, congressman of Green Bay. They're all thinking about it. The one person actually doing something right now is Rebecca Kleefisch, a former lieutenant governor. She's got a PAC that she's used to help other Republican candidates. She also has this kind of think tank to kind of promote her ideas. She's building a foundation to run. Then you have kind of somewhere in this middle is Bill McCoshen, a lobbyist, former member of Tommy Thompson administration. He's moving toward a run, but again, it's a big difference between actually getting there and thinking about it. So Kleefisch is all but in. We expect her to announce sometime this summer, probably after the budget is done.
Let's talk about Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes in the U.S. Senate race. You've been reporting that he's looking at a bid. What is he waiting for?
Well, but Lieutenant Governor Barnes is in a kind of interesting position where his number one job right now is to help sell the governor's budget, and that's not done yet. We expect it to be done probably by early July and signed into law, barring some crazy happen in the last few weeks of the debate by the legislature. Barnes couldn't announce right now and then go out and sell the budget, because if he went out and did events statewide, it'd be, okay, we know you're here to talk about the budget, but let's talk about your for U.S. Senate, right? So he's in this kind of position where it's not a great time to do that. It would kind of undercut his day job, which is being the governor's wingman, for lack of a better term. But once the budget is done, most Democrats I talk to think Barnes will get in, and he'll be a formidable candidate because he's got somebody he's from Milwaukee. He's got ties to progressive groups in Dane County. He's young, progressive. He's got, for lieutenant governor, a pretty decent national network. Got a lot of things going for him, but he's also, with his crowded field developing, kind of falling behind.
If Mandela Barnes does run for Senate, what would happen then with the lieutenant governor job? How would that impact the next election for governor?
So the expectation is if Barnes gets in, and there's still a chance that he won't, but again, most Democrats I talk to think it's more likely than not that he will run. If he gets in, there's not an expectation that he would resign the seat. He'd stay as the lieutenant governor's job. What would happen then is the lieutenant governor and governor of Wisconsin don't run as a ticket in the primary. So even though Governor Evers is the incumbent, we expect him to seek re-election next year, he has to go through a primary anyway. Same lieutenant governor, they run separately. So there'd be a primary next August to pick Evers' running mate. Now the question becomes, would Governor Evers try to find somebody that he would like to run with? And asking around, people point out to me that we're coming off 2020, which was, for a lot of Democrats, the year of the black woman. And Democrats have talked to me about maybe finding a female black candidate who would be locked the ticket. Besides just those, it's not just about being black and female. It's about the talents, the experience. Tanya Johnson, state senator, she's mentioned often as a possibility. But when I hear from my sources, she's not interested. Arcelia Nicholson, the Milwaukee County Board chairwoman, she's somebody mentioned as a young, dynamic public official who could bring something to the ticket, because in a midterm election, it's often about base. Can you turn out your base? And if you can get Milwaukee excited, that helps Democrats quite a bit.
Okay, well, J.R. Ross, you have a lot of good sources, so I always appreciate hearing what you have to say. Thank you.
Anytime.
Coming up, the red-hot real estate market. It's great if you're a seller.